Hello my fellow MCs, Primo here. Have you been saving up all your fuel for relic hunting, and now that you've entered the late game, you aren't sure where to start? Today, we are going over some tips and tricks related to all things relics that I think will help set your account in the right direction. So let's sit back, grind some Stellar Jade, and let's talk about it.
Fantilia, your scheme ends here.
I don't want to speak for everybody here, but when making the initial decision to farm relics, it is usually for one of the main damage dealers on your account. Many of the caverns that we have as of version 1.2 are all directed towards specific elements and enhancing that damage. But is there a cavern that can have a plug and play relic for multiple characters, regardless of elements? Fortunately for us, I believe the Cavern of Corrosion that gives players the most value for their fuel is the Path of Elixir Seekers, which contains the relics the Longevous Disciple and Messenger traversing hackerspace. The reason why this domain is at the top for me is because of the MTH set. This new relic set increases the holder's speed by 6%, and upon use of their ultimate, increases all allies' speed by 12% for one turn. This support set can go on multiple characters, including Bronya, Asta, Tingyun, and even healing units like Natasha. Speed is so vital in Honkai Star Rail, mainly for areas like Memory of Chaos, where having the ability to give your allies multiple turns will help increase your overall DPS and have a better chance at obtaining 3 stars. With this set being utilized by multiple characters, you are giving yourself more opportunity to obtain a usable piece, whether it's getting a main stat with HP, speed, attack, or outgoing healing boost. On the other hand, the Longevous Disciple is an HP based relic set, but also gives an amazing stat stick of 16% crit rate when the holder is hit or has their HP consumed. Now you can make the argument that this set doesn't work on everybody and should only be used for the likes of Blade and Clara. But if we are thinking about efficiency, this set can be used for all DPS characters. Now the 12% HP doesn't do much in terms of damage scaling, but will help with general survivability. Where this set really shines is in Memory of Chaos, where a lot of elite and boss enemies either have AoE attacks that will trigger this effect, or the waves upon waves of smaller enemy attacks inevitably will hit the holder. Now by no means is this a best slot for a majority of characters, because it isn't. I'm not recommending you replace your 4-piece Brilliant Stars or Wastelander set. However, I can see this set fitting the role of the Musketeer set, where this turns into a great temporary option for DPS characters until you can farm for the ideal best in slot. At the end of the day, this is all about maximizing your efficiency when it comes to fuel use, and if you are building multiple DPS and support units at once, this is your go-to cavern.
Fantilia, your scheme ends here.
The diagram you see on the screen lists all of the caverns currently in Honkai Star Rail and which characters would like to utilize these sets. To break it down further, the diagram shows each cavern and the relevant sets, the characters that can utilize these said sets, and if they want to utilize the 2-piece or 4-piece set. With this information in hand, you can make a decision on which cavern you would like to attack first to be able to cover as many characters on your account. Now a question that can be asked here is, do I use my fuel for a specific cavern or do I use it for a specific character? I don't think there is a right answer here, but more of a personal preference on how you want to upgrade your account. You can go for the specific character upgrade and attack that cavern for their best in slot relics. Or if you are looking to upgrade multiple characters, an example being you are building a second team for Memory of Chaos and you need relics for 4 new characters, then you can take the approach of choosing a specific cavern that covers the most characters. However, if you are looking for efficient farming in the hopes you can get usable artifacts across the entirety of your account, then utilizing the info presented here will be your best bet. But at the end of the day, we are all subject to the RNG of the gacha gods. There is no guarantee you'll get anything of value when using up your fuel, so plan accordingly when it comes to which cavern you want to choose for which character and what set you inevitably want them to employ.
Fantilia, your scheme ends here.
You have all these characters leveled up, light cones equipped, traces upgraded, but you aren't sure what is the best way to properly allocate fuel to all of them to enhance their relics. As I mentioned in the previous point, if you're going for a cavern-based relic farming method, then you won't have to worry about allocating fuels among all of your characters. But if you're doing character-based relic farming, then this question can be an important one to answer. Do you put all of them into one character or split them up across multiple characters, and how many would you want to use for each unit? Now this is my personal preference, but I like to split up my fuels for all of my damage dealers based on importance and overall favoritism. I don't have a recommendation on how many specifically each character should have, but you should just use what feels right for that specific character. For myself, units like Blade and Jing Yuan got about 15 fuel canisters or about 1000 Trailblaze power to enhance their relics. I can say it was a success for Blade, but Jing Yuan was a whole nother story. it was an absolute waste and all the pain and suffering was for nothing. But it shows the reality of relic farming and how it can be an up and down experience for many players. The reason why I prefer to utilize my fuel for DPS unit relics and not for my supports is that I believe my DPS units will get the most value out of farming. These characters need to look at obtaining precise substats that they will need to enhance their damage. At least for me, my support units are mainly focused on getting the right main stat when it comes to relics, and when they do, I move on. For DPS units, I need to make sure that not only do they have the correct main stat, but also optimal substats to be able to increase their damage through the use of crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, etc. This doesn't even include the rolling of substats on these relics, which have a low, medium, high range, thus making a good piece initially at +0, potentially mediocre or bad at +15. Thus, focusing your fuels on relics that enhance DPS characters just makes sense, based on the fact that they need a lot more opportunities to break through the awful RNG rules than that of support units. Again, I prefer to split them up among all my main characters, but you do what's best for your account.
Vantilia, your scheme ends here.
This is a warning for new and old players. Some 4-piece sets are totally overrated, and they are a trap. Many players think it gives their units a huge damage and utility boost, when in reality it doesn't. However, I do have to say many support characters would love to utilize 4-piece sets as they generally help give an overall team boost or help create extra utility for that specific character. The lack in value lies in DPS sets, where they have a mediocre attack boost attached to the 4-piece set bonus. Some 4-piece DPS sets that I think can be replaced with the 2-piece variety are the 4-piece Band of Sizzling Thunder and Champion of Streetwise Boxing. A support set that I think would be better off just obtaining the 2-piece set bonus is the Guard of Withering Snow. Band of Sizzling Thunder's 4-piece set bonus can easily be replaced with the 2-piece Musketeer set, with the only fallback being an 8% attack decrease. On top of that, if for some reason your electric unit did not get off their skill for that turn, you are losing out on that 20% attack increase, thus decreasing your DPS. While on the other hand, you'll always have that 12% attack increase that comes from the 2-piece Musketeer. Champion of Streetwise Boxing's 4-piece set bonus can also be easily replaced by the 2-piece Musketeer set. Because of the requirement to be hit or attack up to 5 times to get the 5% stack, you are looking at a gradual payoff that isn't active for the entire battle. Even when getting full stacks of the champion set, you are looking at a 13% decrease in attack percent, and for the amount of extra grinding it may take to obtain 4 decent relics, you just can't justify trying to spend fuel on this set for more than the 2-piece bonus. Guard of the Withering Snow's 4-piece set bonus is very situational, and it may never have a chance to be activated within battle if you are running a healer on your team. With your HP needing to be 50% or less to get the healing boost as well as the 5 energy regen, it is just very impractical to run it on tank units such as Clara. I could see it being used for Japard, but it wouldn't be his ideal set, which is the Knights of Purity Palace. Now, there are some fantastic 4-piece sets that I would highly recommend farming for if you are looking to maximize your character's damage. My personal favorites are the Eagle of Twilight Line, Genius of Brilliant Stars, and Wastelander of Banditry Desert. Eagle of Twilight Line's 4-piece set bonus is a great way to increase the DPS of the holder by giving their action and advance forward by 25%. Not only does this work for DPS units, but a fun niche build I have heard about is a Natasha quid pro quo build. Essentially, by using Natasha's ultimate and activating the advance forward, Natasha can turn into an energy battery for the team, as well as creating more skill points for your DPS units to use through the use of her basic attack. Genius of Brilliant Stars is able to bypass enemy defenses by 20% if they have a quantum weakness and 10% if they don't. If you have Seal or QQ and Silverwolf on one team, you can watch those enemy defenses being shred because of the perfect synergy Silverwolf, the 4-piece set bonuses, and the 2 quantum DPS units possess. It is definitely a top tier set for all quantum enthusiasts. Wastelander of Banditry Desert is the go-to imaginary damage set, and for potential Danhong IL wanters, you can rejoice because this set feasts for mono imaginary teams. Being able to get a crit rate increase of 10% against a debuffed enemy and a crit damage increase of 20% when an enemy is imprisoned is insane when you think that it gives you an overall CV increase of 40%. Imaginary element lovers like myself are drooling at the chance to throw this on Danhong IL when his banner inevitably releases.
Vantilia, your scheme ends here.
And with that, this will end our video on some tips and tricks when it comes to relic farming and how to carefully navigate fuel use. Now, I personally love using my fuels on relics, but that isn't to say that using them on ascension materials and traces is a bad thing. Even in my 5 ways to optimize your account video, I mentioned saving around 8 to 10 fuel for new character ascension materials. But at the end of the day, as long as you feel like you're getting efficient use out of your fuel, you won't have any second thoughts. But if you like the content, please like and subscribe. Comment down below how you are planning to navigate your fuel use and what characters or caverns you plan on using them for. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.